All right, Eric. Hey, how you doing? We're on YouTube,
All right, are we on the watch too?
and we're on the watch.
Absolutely.
We're on the watch. We're on YouTube. Watch live Facebook Live and YouTube. And hope everybody is having a great day. It is Monday, the 26th of June.
Monday.
Tuesday. Excuse me. It is Tuesday, the 27th.
Yeah,
of June.
it's
Wow,
one of them days
I
out
lost
there.
a whole day there. I don't know what happened with that, but lost a whole day on that. So, but better now.
Okay, I see that we are up and live on the watch.
And
So,
we are
Good
on,
deal.
Oh, I know we're on YouTube there.
I know we're a few minutes late. I just want
You
everybody to
volume
know.
down on that.
Yeah, I turned the volume down. I just want everybody. I'm not quite getting. My earphones aren't quite working.
Let's see here. Hold on now.
So
How about now?
there we go. So
there we go.
I just want everybody to know that we're a little late getting started today, and I just wanted to take responsibility and let everybody know that it was Dr. Joe's fault today.
It was. It is. It definitely is my fault today.
But,
wasn't here today. Yeah, I was. Pat and I have had they called it the Columbus crud for the last 4 days, and we've been a little bit under the weather. But welcome everybody to the show, and want to go ahead, Miss Pat, if you can put up the number.
That number?
Yeah,
The number.
The number.
You mean
Check
706 940 0541?
That's it, and we will be taking calls.
Hey, right off the bat, we got I think it was Miss Elaine posted that I think it's been about 26, 27 minutes ago that was something going on over at the Castle Fuel Station off of Old Opelika Road, Cut Rate Road, as you cut through there, the two gas stations before you get onto what some people call Stafford Road or Lee Road 240 as it turns into when you get into Lee County up there. If anybody knows what's going on at the Castle Station, it appeared to be a red pickup truck pulled over by at least 4 marked units. And this week we did have a stolen red pickup, but I'm not quite sure that's the same pickup that was stolen. But if anybody's got any indication of what's going on out there, let us know.
Or as we say on the watch, any intel.
Yeah.
Intel. I see
So,
we are on the watch and we are on YouTube.
I want to start off, I guess, I had a number of birthdays over the weekend or this week.
Can I start with one?
Yeah, I think you know somebody that had a birthday.
Yes, on Sunday, Miss Pat, 26 years old.
Yeah.
Yes, on that.
She's looking good.
You're on
26.
I sure don't feel 26.
In fact, can you hand me that coffee over there?
Oh, sure.
You can take your.
Yeah, Miss Pat has nothing else to do in here, but
No, but take care of us on
Of
that.
the dog.
And hey, welcome.
Anyway,
thank you
so,
on YouTube. Thank you.
Miss
on,
Pat had a
FaceTime.
what was that? What was the name of that restaurant that she had her birthday dinner at?
El Carrizo on Widowsley Boulevard, the best Mexican restaurant in town, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And we had the fam over there and stuff.
So, for you folks out in Russell County, there was another birthday today, and you may have forgotten about this woman, but she grew up out there in the Seal area, and she has gone under the alias of Samantha Treadwell. Some of you may know her as Samantha Barkley. She married this knothead ranger who retired from Fort Benning.
Is that a military term?
Yeah, knothead ranger, yeah. And they moved up to Paragould, Arkansas, where they're living now. And I think she's turned, Samantha, I might be wrong. What are you, 61, 62 years old? I'm not quite sure.
Sorry, man. I don't know if those ages, because I'm in those ages.
Actually,
you should say the word turn.
She's not,
That's like,
yeah, she's not
she's
anywhere
matured.
close to that, yeah.
She's
matured. Anyway, I think,
a good wine matures.
yeah, I think
bad cream.
I think Samantha turned 27 today. Anyway,
Happy
I told
birthday.
her, I said, look, I was thinking about her. I know Lori was thinking about her. And I said that, we're going to get a good straw broom and send up there to her because I know she needs it to get around. But anyway, well, look, I don't know how many people got out about over the weekend out to Fort Benning. But I wanted to take a minute to tell and just speak about Fort Benning a little bit. And this is just me personally, okay? On Saturday, I got out there at Fort Benning. for some stuff at MWR. And of course, you know that they celebrate a week early now, so that, in my opinion, so soldiers can get out and celebrate with their families or travel on the actual 4th of July weekend. And if we push that back, do you think we would get a picture anymore?
Yeah, I think we will. Yep.
Or not?
Yes. Well, I think just push it this way a little bit.
There you go. Okay.
Right.
So
we can even do that a little
we
bit.
went out there over the weekend. Doesn't seem like it's changing any. Anyway, out there at Fort Benning, and you know that the base puts on the 4th of July celebration out there at York Field, in front of basically all the fields in front of what we used to call Building 4 or Building Snore, and now it's the Maneuver Center. But what I wanted to say is there was some belly aching and some complaining and stuff by people, and I don't know if they were military people or civilians or what, but you know, that celebration takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of execution. There's a lot of moving parts to that 4th of July. You had the carnival going on. You had food vendors.
Miss Pat, you actually put up the wrong phone number. It's 0541.
That's what I thought. I was looking on my notes to make
Elaine,
sure.
thank you. Elaine has it corrected.
Thank you, Elaine.
Miss Elaine, you're on it.
940-0541. Scratch that. Can you delete that off there, Miss?
I will try.
So anyway, we get out there, and of course, you know, there was a lot of thunderstorm type weather and rain that kind of came through the area, and it was kind of iffy. People were like, well, I don't know if we're going out there or not because of the weather. They're probably not going to do the fireworks. Well, in a nutshell, MWR and everybody, they put it on, and they tried to execute it. And for the most part, you know, on all the rain we've had and everything with the depression that came through and stuff, yeah, the field was going to be a little wet, a little muddy. But, you know, it went off pretty good. And there was a car given away by MWR, for a Kia car or something. And there was all this hoopla about, they had said that, you know, after 15 minutes of calling the name, you know, if the lady wasn't there, they were going to call another name or something. Well, apparently that wasn't quite the case. But there's all this hoopla about the car, you know, MWR didn't do what they said they were going to do, and it was rigged and all this other crap. And, you know, and my question is, I didn't go out there for a chance on a car, okay? I went out there to celebrate with soldiers and fellow veterans and brothers in arms and show my kids what a celebration looks like, and to have some fun with the kids and take part in our heritage, because I spent a lot of time at Fort Benning, and I know a lot of veterans did too. I know a lot of wives that spent a lot of time at Fort Benning. And if you don't think that that was a well-orchestrated event, that it took probably weeks of planning to make everything happen, the demonstrations, the helicopters coming in, the fact that they waited to the last possible minute, you know, to cancel the fireworks, even though the rain, and then there was lightning in the area, and they still got the 4th of July, the fireworks going off. And it was a pretty darn good show. And I would say, in my opinion, it's one of the best shows you're going to see in the Southeast that's free, you know. There's nothing that can compare to it. So all this complaining about, oh, there should have been more free stuff for veterans. There should have been more free stuff for this. You know what? There was a lady, and I don't know what your name is, but you were one of the ladies selling tokens out there. You didn't have to tell us this, but you said, you know, if you're have a military ID card, you know, that's going to save you at least $10 on your kids' unlimited rides and stuff. And it did. It saved us a big chunk of money. And she didn't have to tell us that, but she did, and we certainly appreciate it. I also want to thank the ladies that the tokens that we didn't spend on food and the rides and stuff, that they took them back, no questions asked. Gave me back cash. So for all these people that are complaining with your hand out that you didn't get something, I'm sorry. But that's not why the true patriotic Americans went out there. They didn't go out there for free giveaways, okay? They weren't waiting on Ranger Joe's to give them a Humvee or something, okay? Even though I'm upset with Paul Voorhees, okay? Because I asked to take the yellow Humvee for a ride through the impact area, and they would not give me the keys. So, Paul, I got a bone to pick with you because I wanted to test drive the yellow Humvee from Ranger Joe's. But anyway.
We're going to get this fixed up
I
your
want to say that the kids had a blast. All the kids I saw, the jumpy houses, the rides, the Ferris wheel, the bumper cars, and all this stuff was absolutely fantastic. I think MWR deserves 2 thumbs up, 4 thumbs up, or 2 thumbs, 2 toes up. You did a good job. So all this crying and complaining online, you complainers,
Wah, wah, wah.
if that's what you got to complain about, when life gets tough, you're not going to know what hit you. Okay, so enough on that. Fort Benning, drive on. You did a good job. What do you think, Joe?
I think outstanding, and that's the way the way that I grew up and knew the military. That's the way things got done. There you go. We got American flag up there. We're gonna get that little one mounted behind us.
Well,
Later
I'm
today.
sure we can, in this day and age, that we could definitely come up with an American flag. Of course, we don't want to offend anybody out there by showing the American flag in the United States. I mean, some people get offended by it. And I'm sorry.
That's called sarcasm, everybody, because we hope that we offend as many people as possible.
Yes, and you can thank your stars that we have to abide by the FCC regulations, or I would tell those people that are offended by the American flag exactly where they could go.
Actually, you know what? We actually have to abide by the Constitution of the United States.
Yeah.
And the
Just
SEC.
please don't tell them that because I'm the one answering the phone, okay?
Well, you can. I'll be happy to talk to them if they want.
So, I forgot to ask, who else went out to Fort Benning and braved the weather and the humidity and the little patches of mud out there?
And not I and not Miss Pat, because like I said, we had the Columbus crud this weekend, and we're definitely down and out. Forgive me, everybody, for my coffee up here. This is my fix here to keep me.
You know,
going.
did we like color coordinate today? Because you're just a little bit off with me. Or I'm a little off with you. But anyway.
I've been
It's
told
pretty-
I'm a little off often.
So anyway, if anybody wants to call in and express their views on the celebration or whatever, whether you went, you didn't go, whether you think I'm wrong about what I said, call on in, 706-940-0541. And we're going to move on to the next topic, which is about a week or so ago, we carried a video that was put out by the Columbus River Warden, if I've got that right. And
River Warden?
River Warden.
I didn't know we had a River
I don't know if that's an organization. I tried to call them twice and did not get a return phone call. But that's my problem.
Is that seriously? Is that?
Did we just?
Oh, I just did something bad here. Hold on.
Uh-oh. We've been
I have messed
we've
up.
been scrammed from
I
the
should have I pushed the wrong button.
from the YouTube page.
Oh, so hold on,
Well, I'm just going to keep
let's
talking.
keep talking.
I guess we're still
Yeah, we are.
we're still live on Facebook. So
Yeah.
anyway,
It's good.
So I pushed the wrong button.
it's a good thing that Joe wasn't in the Air Force and in charge of nuclear weapons, because we could have a real incident on our hands right now.
Oh, push the wrong button.
Anyway,
let's go back here. Keep
the
going.
River Warden reported and did a video that there was some type of pollution that they found south of Phoenix City, somewhere south of the Dillingham Street Bridge, I believe it was, if I'm correct.
There we
Go
go.
back. Maybe
We're
we
back.
never left. We're just on another page.
I think we just never left.
Apparently they caught the attention of some of the media, and the media inquired about it. And Phoenix City, I don't know if he's the finance director or the economic director or what is engineering or whatever is. I can't even remember his name. Came back with a fiery response saying, "This is clean water that's being pumped back in from the filtration system. What do you call it? What's the official name?
Waterworks.
The waterworks, or where all the waste treatment.
Yeah.
And some people just don't, kind of not buying that, because if it's been treated water, why would you have all this soapy suds looking, contamination looking stuff, floating on top of the water, like somebody just emptied their bath water into the Chattahoochee, or
You
like
know what I say? Go get a glass. Go to where it's at.
it was done.
Put
It
some
was
water.
done.
No, listen. put some water in that glass and hand it to the man and say, if it's good enough for you to drink, it should be good for everybody.
I think what was said was that this water is cleaner coming out of the waste treatment facility than it was when we pulled it in or whatever. So I don't know. There was the excuse made that, well, you know, when the river goes up and the water starts going faster, it makes foam, and that's what this is. Well, there's a big difference between foamy water, even water that has pollen in it, and soapy residue, bubbles, and stuff. And I'm going to give Phoenix City the benefit of the doubt because I didn't get down there to see it myself. I didn't get the chance to test it, but apparently some water samples were taken, and we're going to wait for the results on what they say about the water. But here's my thing. For the people that do fish down there, for the people that spend a lot of time going up and down the river on their boats and stuff, and canoeing and whitewater rafting and stuff, if you do see another obvious, some kind of discharge or something, let's find out where it's coming from. Let's find out if there's a pipe or something in the nearby, if it's dumping it into a creek. Give us a general location where this is going on so we can monitor this and see if there's indeed a company or the city dumping something that's really not supposed to be dumped into the river. Because I think it's something, you know, that needs to be looked at. And if we've got, you know, it was suggested, well, maybe with all the rain and stuff, there's some kind of overflow that they can't control or something. I don't know. But I don't think anything that's been treated should come out of a system looking like a bunch of dishwater or your washing machine water when it's on rinse and all the soapy water comes out and dumps, you know, if you've ever seen that anywhere. If we're dumping soap suds or something into the water, I don't think that's really good for the fish.
That is what is the key. It ain't good for us. I need to remind everybody that, and I hope this doesn't shock people because it really does, Eric, when I tell this to people, is that the Chattahoochee Valley is where, the Chattahoochee River is where the Chattahoochee Valley gets our water. Yes, the water you drink out of your tap. That's it. It comes from the river.
Yeah.
And one of the problems, you know, people talk about, they go, oh, sewage, which is bad enough on that. Sewage, though, is a natural occurrence that naturally, as long as it's not too much, is no problem. We have the Chattahoochee River, for those who have not been up through Atlanta, goes directly through Fulton County. And above us, Atlanta, LaGrange, other industrial towns literally dump just millions of gallons of industrial waste into the Chattahoochee River. And the Chattahoochee River, this is the stuff where you have, and I'm not being facetious, we literally have, and let me tell you how that almost sounded like Bugs Bunny, or whatever that character was. Sorry about that. I got excited. Let me tell you how much this has impacted us right now. Is that if you go, those of you who are fishermen and fishermen and women and people up there.
Is that where we're getting these 4-eyed fish and 2-tailed
Well, it's
fish?
worse than that. It's worse than that. For many years now, above the dam, if you catch fish up there, the mercury level is so high right now that you are told not to eat any of the meat along the spine of the fish or any of the fatty areas of the fish. That you can eat it, but you got to cut those areas out because the mercury is so high already.
I think I'm going to pass personally on Chattahoochee fish, but you know, and the other interesting point is that anything that's dumped around here in Columbus or Phoenix City area is going on down to Eufaula, going on down to the Dothan area, going down to all the way down to Florida, probably going into the Gulf of Mexico. So it's not really good that we dump it and then let somebody else have to drink it or deal with it, or you know, the animals down there. And I'm not saying anybody's done anything wrong. I'm just saying if it's being done, we need to address it. Some people online had talked about, oh, well, we've seen that for 20 years, 30 years. Well, you know, it's about after 30 years, maybe you want to do something. And a close personal friend of mine who remained nameless has said basically the people that are in charge don't care because they'd rather pay the fine than spend the money to fix the system. You know, it costs way more money to fix the system than it just is to pay the little diddly fine or whatever. So they're happy with paying the fine and keep dumping what they're dumping. Well, that's the wrong answer. And we as citizens, if we find that out and we keep seeing this, we need to do something about
Well,
it.
to chime in on that is that is a very factual statement that the EPA, the annual fine that the EPA imposes on industrial waste, illegal and industrial waste dumping, is $50,000. Okay, even for a small plant, it costs. I was told by people that I have a family member that's deceased now, so I can say this, that told me that even a smaller plant, a minimum, it's several $1 million to properly dispose of that waste. So they literally, and I could get evidence to prove this in a court of law. This has been going on for so long that there is no punitive damage or punitive measures taken against these companies other than annually the EPA comes down. And Eric and our audience out there, I literally know of companies right now that have a check already waiting for the inspector, already made out for $50,000. They simply come down and go, hello, here you go. Here's our fine. Yeah, we do it on that, and that's it. And and that's absolutely pathetic. I want to really thank online here for a second all of our guests and stuff, but I want to especially thank Eric Woodson. Eric was kind of very instrumental in kind of helping us to get on YouTube now, which is a biggie, and we're very proud of that. I want to thank Miss Pat. Miss Pat is our college graduate. She's a proud graduate. She actually has a degree in information technology from Columbus Tech, which is a fine school, and it's often on that. I didn't want to bring out. I like to kind of bring out a little bit as we have him here, and I'm sure that it's already on the watch page. I'm just trying to post it to Miss Pat's page because I'm on her laptop right now. But Columbus Police seeking an individual for armed robbery. This just came out. Well, it was 19 hours ago, but Jamal Head, that's Jamal Head, Head. Columbus Police Department is asking public self for finding robbery suspect. This is a 23-year-old black male, Jamal Head, Head. He is wanted for involvement for a series of armed robberies throughout Columbus and should be considered armed and dangerous. Head is a black male, 5 foot 5 inches, weighing 140 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Head also has the following tattoos, D4W Mary on Rose on his right forearm, live free with gun in left forearm, the Second Amendment guy. H on his right tricep, J on his left tricep, and Asian symbols for monster, and the symbol, the name Alexis in a heart on his neck. Again, Jamal Head, Head. Looking for in the Chattahoochee Valley, 23 years old, black male, considered armed and dangerous. If you have any information at all about him, you need to call the Robbery Assault Division of Columbus Police Department, 706-653-3400, 653-3400. You can call anonymously. I know for a fact these calls are not taped, these calls, and they will treat you with complete anonymity. And if there is a reward for these people, they will, or Mr. Member capture, they do pay the reward out.
Excuse me, we just had it. Peggy.
Hi, Peggy.
Peggy said, I know this has nothing to do with the river water, but just in. Possible active shooter on Redstone Arsenal. Officials asking people to avoid the Sparkman Center.
Wow. So that's a military installation up in, it's outside of Huntsville?
Yeah, that is exactly.
I think it is.
Let's just say real quick, dear Lord Heaven, please be with these people, these innocent people, and protect them from these monsters and the law enforcement and public safety officers that are attempting to resolve the situation. Please grant your blessing and your peace on them and resolve the situation and bring this person to justice.
Amen.
Well, that's interesting that we got that. I mean, that must be breaking news.
That is breaking news on that. I always like to say thank you again, Eric, for your service to our country.
I tell people all the time, you don't have to thank me. I got to play. I got to play.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I got to go out and play with great toys.
That's our problem in America. We don't thank you enough.
Yeah,
we don't thank you enough.
Thank you, Peggy. Peggy said amen to that.
If I could just get the VA to have your state of mind, life would be better for me. But it's a little battle out there.
Can I get on soapbox for a second?
Soapbox for
for a moment. America as a civilian, I'm a veteran also, but just a little peacetime baby service veteran, but nothing like the gentleman next to me. And I'm ashamed, as we all should be, the fact that we have veterans like Eric that spent the entire career in the service as a combat soldier protecting our nation, and they have just insurmountable problems getting basic assistance for medical issues that were and medical problems that were as a direct result of their service to our country, to getting the tools necessary to help them with this. As far as I'm concerned, and I'm a taxpayer, past a taxpayer, you know what? Take my taxes for that. Fine. Raise my taxes for that. These people, these men and women who have done this, there is absolutely, it is a travesty of justice. We are at war right now in Afghanistan. We have men and women dying every week. We have veterans every 22 minutes in this country commit suicide because they don't think that you or I care. Well, we do care, and you know what? HELL toothpicks with Putin and all these other countries, I don't really give a rat's butt about these other countries around the world, about their aid and their necessity to keep the world stable. Help our own people in America. And you in Congress, it's an election year coming up, we're going to run your tails out of office if you don't start getting on the ball. That's it.
Now, on the other side of this,
thank you for letting me get on my soapbox.
I have to go to a doctor once a month. And it just so happens when I went to check out, there was a man in front of me, and he was a veteran, and he was an older man. He was probably World War II veteran.
Or Korean War.
And you could tell that he was having pain in his back and stuff. And he said to the lady in front of him, the receptionist, he said, the VA is finally starting to do something about this, and I'm able to get out of this pain. And I thought, well, maybe the VA is getting their stuff together and helping these people that need some help.
Well, I don't mean to bring personal stuff into it, but you're my dear friend, you're my brother. I happen to know that you is this a fact, and I'm just saying this because there's so many that you suffer every day, 7 days a week, from physical injuries that you got as a result of your military service. Is that correct? Every day?
Yeah, some days are better than other days, but I've got some damage to my spine and stuff that causes me problems.
Did you when you were asked to serve, did you say, "Well, I'll serve to this extent"? No, or I'll serve to this extent.
Most guys know that they've heard this before. You get hurt in the military, and they usually throw you a bottle of the 800 grain the military Motrin, the big ones, and you're taking two at a time or 3 at a time, and you're told to drive on. And most guys do. That's what the mindset is. You get the mission done. Because everybody's telling you you don't quit, you don't stop, you don't complain. You just drive on and go as long as you can go. Well, you do that for 20 years. It's going to take some wear and tear on you. And if you don't think it takes wear and tear on you, then you're sadly mistaken, because you can look at the professional athletes, the wear and tear for a couple of years of professional football ends a lot of people's careers and stuff.
Well, you also, I don't know, a lot of people out there don't know this. Eric is a veteran airborne combat soldier, airborne trooper, paratrooper. And let me ask you a question, how many in 20 years parachute jumps did you make, roughly? Wild guess.
Well, I was on jump status for about a total of 10 years, and there was probably somewhere in there about, 100, 100 some jumps.
And so, and just about, and I've not done this. I have done the Sky Cars at Six Flags. I tried to get them to give me air one time, but they wouldn't do it. Go figure on that. But not being facetious, it looks to me, I've been out to Friarfield and watched it, okay? And what's amazing, I've watched these guys and gals hit the ground and look like a sack of potatoes hitting or a meteor coming in. And it looked to me like they were just killed, and they went, wow, that was a good jump. That looked good. I mean, it might be facetious. No, wow, yeah.
That's just like the pilots say.
What's a bad one?
Any jump that you can get up and walk away from or limp away from is a good jump, So, but you have to understand that that's just a small part of being a paratrooper. You're still carrying, you have to carry in that rucksack, or large ruck, you've got to carry enough stuff for 3 days of fighting. That means your clothes, your food, your water, your ammo, any special equipment. And the term light infantry has been around for, 20 years, but there's no such thing as light infantry. Okay, you're carrying everything on your back, and a paratrooper just jumps into combat from an airplane usually, and he's carrying everything on his back. So it's all the stuff from everything.
What is that, like 110 pounds or something like that?
Well, the rucksack, they say, there's always these people that are saying, oh, the rucksack's only 35 pounds. Yeah, I don't know what unit you were ever in, but my rucksack was never 35 pounds. A minimum rucksack is probably at least 50. A combat load is probably, with everything, is probably 80 or more, depending on what you're carrying.
I was at West Point. We had a enlisted soldier that carried our rucksack for us. And it got kind of tedious because I had to constantly say, come on now, hurry up and carry that.
Then you have, your LBE, your water, your magazines, your bayonet, your helmet. All that stuff adds up. All that stuff that you're carrying adds up. And over time, jumping out of buildings and off the back of trucks and hitting the ground and doing all the stuff that you do puts wear and tear on your body. And that's all well and good.
How about this scumbag in Albuquerque? Did you hear about this? 103-year-old World War II veteran was a victim of a car theft in New Mexico. Father, grandfather cared for his son, Mario. Monday morning, this came out and found out that his grandfather had his truck stolen from his home. This is guy's 103 years old, and he had been on TV, and he was talking about that he had a truck that he loved so much, and somebody obviously saw it on TV, came in and stole his truck. Why don't we find that person, get his truck back, tie them to the back of the truck, and drag them all over the city? How about that? Oh gosh, that'd be cruel and unusual punishment, wouldn't it?
Maybe take him out. Where was that at? Where was it again?
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Out 50 miles on the desert, let him walk back.
I guess you could take him out to Fort Huachuca and drop him off.
Oh yeah, I've got.
No, well, as long as we're transitioning over to the the crime scene and stuff, locally, folks, I'm here to tell you, this last week was on the page. If you're following the page in Columbus and stuff, all you heard was Circle K hit, Circle K, Circle K, Circle K. And it's been a running joke with me, and people say I'm joking and stuff, but I really think that the corporation, Circle K, whatever corporation that is, needs to change the name here locally in Columbus. Circle K needs to change its name to Stop and Rob. I mean, because pretty much, and I heard another one, let's see, Stop and Rob, and then I heard change the name from Circle K to OK. It's okay to rob us because
Corral.
But just multiple Circle K's hit within the last week. Last night alone, Miss Stacy was up most of
Bless
the night.
her heart, Stacy.
And all you heard was shots fired, people running, shots fired in the house. The other night before last, I heard shots fired, at least 1 or 2 rounds hit a house somewhere. And calling people. I mean, I'm being serious, but if you can't hit a house, you need to go back to the range and get some practice, okay? I mean, Lord have mercy. And ammunition companies must be loving this, because, I mean, there are shootings every single night. I don't think there was anybody, well, I take that back. I think there might have been somebody shot last night, or at least there was somebody over on Benning Road about 04 this morning that they found bleeding from a head wound or something. I don't think he was shot. I think he was hit over the skull with something.
We had a PPS last night.
PPS?
That's a potential possible shooting. That was anybody that would come near my house at night when I'm
Right.
down there and try to get them, because they would have definitely been a shooting there.
Well, every night is being eventful. I mean, I'm surprised that. In fact, I'm going to talk to Miss Stacy, Miss Elaine, a few other people, maybe Chaplain Paul. Maybe we can get with one of these reality shows and. New gun range down in Eufaula. I heard about that. We'll get to that in a minute. But maybe we could get somebody to come in and we could do a reality show, and then we could ride around at night and go to some of these calls and stuff, and
I'd love to do that.
And talk to people and stuff.
Maybe
and
we could get the Hummer, get it, and the watch.
Maybe we could get the mayor's cell phone number. We could call her and have her come out and tell us how that the statistics are really down. And
we could, if we had something happen at night, we could run up to Harris County where she lives and check in with her.
Okay, Peggy just wrote back in,
Hey, Peggy.
and she said, "Can you tell me how we, the citizens, can stop all this removal of history? Crews are actively removing a Confederate monument from Forest Park. I literally feel that all I can do is shake my head and pray, 'Come, Lord Jesus, come.'"
Peggy.
what is Forest Park? Is that in Georgia?
Forest Park is in Georgia.
Okay.
On that,
The only thing that personally I know you can do is get with your elected leaders and hold them accountable and ask them what their position is on this, because what is it going to take? Just anybody that gets offended now can say we need to remove stuff, because if we take all this stuff down, it never happened.
what
right?
we have to do,
That's
Peggy,
on the south side of Atlanta.
on the south of Atlanta. Peggy, I want to this is a very, very personal issue with me. My great-great-grandfather, Captain Gabriel Redding Cohen, was a captain in the 19th Battalion, Georgia Cavalry from Austin, Georgia. And I'm going to tell you, I have been, when I was born, I was put in the Children of the Confederacy by my grandmother. I was in through 18, and I'm still a member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. I'm a member of the Order Stars and Bars, and which are all Southern Historical Societies. And I'm going to tell you something, how seriously that I take what you're saying. I have two sons, both of which I named as their middle name Redding, in honor of their great-great-grandfather, who was the captain of the Confederacy. And they have two sons, my two of my grandsons, that they've named Redding in their middle name on that to continue this. This is a direct assault on my and your family, F-A-M-I-L-Y. And what we can do is we can come in there and we can, what you've got to do is you've got to call your elected officials. You've got to call the mayor's office. Even if you have to leave messages, call the commissioner, your city councilor, and you got to say, and I can tell you what to say. Say, if you support this, I will vote for Bozo the Clown other than you. You can count on it that you will not get my vote, and I will do everything, because you know what? I'm a political consultant, and we know statistically that one person will influence five other people at a minimum in a vote. And I want to tell you something. I've done, Pat will tell you now, I've done 23 campaigns over the years, and all the way from state level to local level. And I can tell you, if you don't let them fool you. Don't let these politicians fool you. If you don't think, they don't care. Oh, yes, they do. They sure do. They do not like getting calls. They do not like, but that's exactly what you got to say. And they will, but you got to do it continuously. And you got to sit there and say, no, this is unacceptable. And we are not going to stand for it. And there will be retribution in the polls. Don't threaten people. That's against the law. There will be retribution in the polls if you support that. And that's what you got to say. You can't say, and I guarantee you they're going to kiss your rear end. They're going to try to say, oh, well, you know what, I feel your pain, and then I'm going to do everything you can. Say, I don't want to hear that. I just want you to hear what I'm saying. I will vote against you. I don't care I don't care if it's a Democrat, Republican. I don't care if it's a member of the Communist Party. I will vote for them before I will vote for you. I will. If I have $5 to my name, I will give it to your opponent.
Now, how about How about all the Democrats up and around Atlanta losing their mind, and all the celebrities out in Hollywood that are losing their mind because Karen Handel won the election, and the Democrats spent, I guess altogether they spent both candidates spent like $40 million.
Well, Eric, I'm fixing to say something ultra controversial. Okay, that people are going to like.
Hang on. Okay, go
all
ahead.
Right.
I got a grip.
Most of these people that we're talking about that are demanding, and they're of all races, creeds, and color. They're demanding the removal of these monuments or Confederate monuments. They say that because they are people. This is a quote. They are people that supported or had slaves. I'm sure you've heard that. Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, you know what? Then let me ask you a question out there to those people here. If anybody in Columbus, then do we need to go to the Horace King Bridge and take out down to the sign up there? Horace King was a black man who owned slaves. He was a free black man. Check with Johnny Warner, who was with for years with the black, fine man, wonderful human being, and he taught me that Horace King, a black man, who was a free man of color, owned slaves.
I mean, how far is it going to go?
How far should it go?
I mean, we're gonna go through the cemetery here in Columbus and find who was Confederate soldiers, and people are going to demand that they be dug up and moved to another part.
Are we going to go over to Africa to the tribes who sold the slaves and find out who they were and damn them to hell too?
Mary,
Enough.
Mary typed in and she wrote, I posted live link to the watch. Can't find anything on TV about it.
Really? Wow.
And
what a shock.
Stacy wrote in. Hi, Stacy.
Hi, Stacy.
She said there was 2 shootings last night. One on 42nd and one on 6th.
Wow. Well, the other thing I was going to say is, wasn't Fort Benning originally a plantation?
Yes, Fort Benning.
And Fort Benning
Yes.
Was it Colonel Benning or General Benning?
Riverside, it was called. Riverside.
Was he a colonel or a general?
Well, he was a general on that. General, but Riverside was not owned by the Bennings.
All right,
but then it was Riverside Plantation. But General Henry Lewis Benning.
Yeah, is there going to be a movement now to change the name of Fort Benning because this man possibly had a plantation that might have had some slaves on it, and now we can't have Fort Benning named Fort Benning?
Well, I will also remind you too, maybe people are not aware of this, that General Henry Lewis Benning was a Confederate general. He was also, long after the war, the governor of the state of Georgia on that, and that goes down very many times that people are not aware of that fact. But I'm proud and happy for people to be, proud of their heritage. I also had, by the way, yes, I had ancestors that owned slaves. On that, that was part of the culture back then. Was that right now? No. Was it right then? That's what they thought at that time. Matter of fact, Robert Edward Lee, the commander of the armies of the Confederacy, was, of course, who was actually offered command of the Union Army when the war started. And he said, I will not raise my sword against my beloved Virginia, which was his home state. He and Jefferson Davis both said that slavery was a moral wrong, and that they said that what we have to do is we have to get something to replace it, and we have to do that in a way where it's not going to bankrupt. It's very interesting. The three richest states, I don't know if you knew this, in 1860, that's the year before the war between the states started. In 1860, do you know what they were? It'll surprise you. I can prove this by the way, I can prove this in a court of law.
Northern states?
No, states, any state in the Union in 1860. All the states in the Union. What would you think would be the 3 states, wealthiest states?
New York?
Incorrect.
Massachusetts?
Incorrect.
Oh, you got me.
Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. Because of the cotton trade. Now, interesting, Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi were the 3 wealthiest states in 1860. Guess what? In 1870, 5 years before, the 3 poorest states in the United States were
Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi.
Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. Because the Union came down. That's why y'all might wonder that you see that as we call it. You always you will never hear me say the word Civil War. When I was raised, we call it the War between the States, which by the way, in 1898, that's what the Congress of the United States in 1898 decided that it would be called, the War between the States, because a civil war is when you have one or more factions fighting for power in one country. we had two countries, and people say, "Oh, we never recognize that." Well, you know what I always say about that? We're getting off tangent here, but I'll just make this one point, historical point. Is I hear that I teach college too, and I hear professors all the time say, "The secession of the South was never officially recognized." Well, if the secession of the South was never recognized, then why, after the war ended, did the Union require each state of the Confederacy to be readmitted to the Union? How can we be readmitted if we, according to them, never left?
Right.
Okay. And by the way, do you know when Georgia was readmitted to the Union?
1901.
1873. 8 years. 8 years after the war, we were under a military government, military occupation. And my final question is: this is a very typical issue, a typical person? So did the war between the states, or the Civil War, whatever you want to call it, end slavery?
No, absolutely not.
What ended slavery? The 13th Amendment of the Constitution, which was signed in December of 1865, 7 months after the end of the war.
You know who we ought to have here today to talk about that, right?
Who's that?
Miss Lakeisha.
Oh, yeah. She'll agree with me.
Yeah.
She'll agree with me.
But, hey, one thing that, just switching back to something on the crime scene, we're talking about the shootings and stuff. Last night, the Dinglewood package store down there where you have Winton, is it Winton and Buena Vista come together at that little V right there? There's a package store right there on the corner.
You mean the drive-through package store?
Yeah, well, they didn't have a drive-through, but they had a robbery there last night. And it was interesting, the place got hit, and they apparently had some firearms there to protect the business, and those firearms got stolen. And then when they got stolen, somebody called them on the phone. No, actually they didn't. It was my phone. Thought I had it turned down. I'm sorry. So these guns were stolen last night sometime, and some police officers were over on Victor Drive and answering a call to something about shots fired over there. Apparently these guns were recovered, and lo and behold, 6 or 8 juveniles were, I think one was arrested, maybe, I don't have all the numbers and stuff, but there was at least 6 juveniles, maybe 8. They tried to hide these guns up under the wheel well of one of the vehicles, and there were some drugs found, thrown down on the ground. And anyway, these guns were identified as being stolen from last night. They found their way over to some juveniles, and they were over on Victor Drive, so they were recovered. So that's just a little bit of information on that. But if you're going to have guns in your house, and you're going to have guns at your business, and you're going to have them there for some type of protection or something, have them secured in such a way that if you become the victim, or be prepared that if you think you're going to be the victim, don't let those guns go out the front door. I mean, it's kind of silly to have guns for protection and then they get stolen away from you. At the same token, have your guns secured at your home. You know, if you've got them there for protection or self-protection or whatever, have them secured so that they don't go out, so either police officers have to face them on the street or other people have to face them, or they're used in other crimes. Along that same thing, we're going to talk again about if you're getting out of your car to gas up your car, don't leave your keys in them. I mean, we're still having a rash of stolen vehicles, and some of these stolen vehicles are turning around and being used for crimes in Columbus. They're being used for crimes over in Alabama. And the whole reason they're being stolen is so they can be used for crimes, so they can go out and burglarize houses and commit these robberies and stuff. And anyway, so if anybody has a topic or something that they want to throw in here, I mean, we've had the Redstone Arsenal thing thrown in. I was kind of like in the dark here. Mary said she posted the live link to the watch because she can't find anything on TV. Is that what she wrote?
I think, yes. I think she was talking about the removal of the things that we were just talking
The
about.
monuments. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, all right. Well, you're hearing about it all over the country. You know, like I guess a couple weeks ago, it was really big. They had some monuments. I mean, actual landmarks down in New Orleans were moved, and I've got friends that live in New Orleans and stuff, and I'm telling you right now, I think the mayor was behind it, and people down there, they can't stand him. You know, I don't think he's going to get reelected. But removing all this stuff is not going to change history, and I just, it's ridiculous. But here locally, you know, we need to get together and talk about it every week. Citizens need to get together. Some more fireworks down here in Columbus on the school board issue. I think it was Mr. Frank Thomas is one of the,
Yes.
and who's his running partner?
No, that's Frank Myers and John Thomas.
Yeah, okay, there we go. I had the names a little mixed up. Apparently, there was a meeting the other night. I didn't really hear the outcome of this meeting and stuff, but people are involved. Okay, people want to, and how ridiculous is it? Ridiculous is it to have public meetings and then say, you know, we're going to take something to an executive session and we're going to lock the public out. I mean, where's the transparency in that?
Absolutely, you know, and I want to bring up real quick something you just said. Kind of a plea, almost is the word I want to use to our listeners out there with the 4th coming up. Pat and I have a number of friends that are veterans from the recent wars, and we have some of them are suffering from PTSD. Excuse me, I lost it there from PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, and fireworks really upset them. And I've talked to some over the years, and you know, I'm not talking about upset them like they're going to go out and shoot them. I'm talking about where they're, you know, they have nightmares and flashes and all these kind of things, and it's really a bad night. And so please, if you're going to use fireworks, go somewhere out in a field or somewhere out, you know, away from people's neighborhoods or something like that, where you know there's not going to be people, you know, that are going to be potentially living next door to you. In my cul-de-sac alone, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 veterans and 1 active duty military that just got back to me.
Well, the problem is with that, it's kind of hard to for people to know, you know, where these people are that are having problems and stuff. I personally, you know, it doesn't bother me. I mean, you know, now there are things that bother me, like people that like to walk up and sneak up behind you, you know, or something, or jump in your face from around the corner or something. That's probably not the smartest thing to do. But I was out at Fort Benning, and you know, there's a lot of booms, a lot of big stuff going up, helicopters flying around, and loud noises and stuff. And personally, it doesn't bother me. Now, I'm not saying, you know, that means anything, but I just wonder if it's better, you know, maybe. And I'm not saying they have to, and you know, being considerate if you do know about it, you know. I was just wondering maybe if these veterans could go out in the country or something, find some place and get away from it, you know. But I guess there's really, where do you go to get away from fireworks?
Well, I think one thing too, and again, this is something that is very significant. We need to recognize, and I know Eric can attest to this, is that because of the change in the way of technology, the way things are doing, we have soldiers. Eric Dempsey was telling us about this, that literally arrive here and 48 hours ago was in a combat zone. 48 hours ago was in a combat zone where, I mean, they were engaged in almost daily combat operations, and then all of a sudden, bang, they're in Columbus, Georgia. So, you know, these are people that have been over there, 13 months, something like that. And it's not unreasonable to think that, you know, when they're walking down the street and they hear bang, bang, or something like that, that's going to, cover, you know, hit it, you know, on that. Because is that a pretty factual statement?
Yeah, I've also heard some of the commands and stuff try and they try to give a certain amount of time to reiterate these people. Not reiterate. I can't think of the right word. In other words, bring these people back and give
reintroduce them into
Yeah, to give them a little time before they're just thrust back out. You know, I'm not saying it happens in every command. I'm not saying every Army unit can do it, but I think there's some evaluations going on for the guys that have seen some heavy stuff.
But see, people don't realize there's been a huge paradigm shift in the last 50 years, 100 years, more than that, the last 75 years. You know, from when somebody in World War II was being discharged, it would be a couple months sometimes before they were back into society. I guess I'd say that. And then all the way up even to Vietnam. In Vietnam, they had a system there where in rotation, you know, you just did your discharge just at the end, and then all of a sudden, you know, you went over there to Towson Airport and jumped on a plane and flew home. You know, there was usually a 4, 5, 6 week period where you put, you know, in the rear area, Saigon or something like that, and then then there was transition there, and then there was a transition over to Guam or Hawaii or something like that, and then so it was just, and then but today we literally have people that Eric Dempsey was talking about this last week, that he literally on his last tour in Iraq. He had some emergency news that he had to get back to the United States for, and this was normal. This was an expedited thing. He said it freaked me out. He said I'm sitting here in a fighting position, and in 70 barely. He said I think he said it was a little over 48 hours. Mostly on planes. He's in Chicago, and saying, "Whoa." I'm not ready for this.
Well, it's not hard for the military if they want to. I mean, people forget. That a lot of some of these cutting edge units, anywhere in the world in 18 hours or less. 18 hours or less, they can have you on the ground. Okay, so it's not unheard of that they can put you on a military plane and you can be back in the States and from anywhere in a matter of hours. You don't have to go to Germany and fly to New York and then you can be flown from the combat zone right back anywhere in the United States. I mean, the planes can make it.
And that's amazing.
I mean, I flew from Hawaii one night all the way back to the East Coast, and I think we need some adult supervision out there. So I'm going to take a break and go out there and kick some butt. I'll be right back.
I'll talk for just a second here. I'll keep talking to everybody. Sorry about that. The school is out. School is out. A little bit of the news that's coming in here on the national front. I'm going to go to Fox News to top stories here if I can get the computer to come up here. What's going on here? Let's see what we got here. Top stories. And I don't know if we'll be able to get some top stories. There's a lot going on in America right now. There's a lot of concern in the right now. The president has announced that there may be some potential action in Syria because of the impending possible chemical attack there. So that's on that. We now have. I was reading yesterday that now Mr. Putin has four nuclear attack submarines operating in the Gulf of Mexico. So you literally, when you're sitting down on the beach in Destin or Panama City or in Gulf Shores, Alabama, or Tybee Island or St. Mary's Island, you probably have within a couple dozen miles offshore underneath the ocean, you have Russian nuclear submarines on that.
Well, you know what that means. That means there's 4 American attack submarines that are following right behind them.
Yep. And, on that, and we've got. Well, it's interesting, and we have. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay. Top news. I'm trying to bring it up to the top news in on Fox News here. If I can get it to. I don't know why it's probably being jammed by the CNN network, which is one of the communist news network. Yeah. On that, but.
There was some people talking earlier over the weekend, about there was a car wreck and stuff down in Eufaula, And some people were upset that there was no coverage or anything over the weekend. Well, we've talked about it before. You have to understand that the staff on a weekend is not the same as during the week, and they don't. All the media, local media, just doesn't have all the people working to post all this stuff and do the news stories and stuff. And then there was some talking about, you know, do the police departments have to give the media any information or anything? And you know, the bottom line is your tax money is financing these departments and stuff. You as a citizen have a right to know what's going on. So my point of view is don't let anybody tell you that you can't ask or you can't demand to know what's going on in your area or your neighborhood, your city, out on the highway.
Sure.
If you know, everybody basically wanted to know about this wreck because it was a horrific scene of a white sedan all up under the back of a tractor trailer. And actually, the pictures that were posted looked a whole lot worse because they'd already cut the top of the car off, which made it look even worse. But for the people that didn't hear, the man in that car and his dog both survived, and as of last night, were doing well. They were in ICU, or at least the man was in ICU, and apparently he's gonna make it. So, looking at the car all up under the back of the semi, the 18-wheeler, and you'd have to say, wow, somebody was looking out for him. Because you know, there's two things that just don't move a whole lot on the highway, and that's the trees on the side of the road and the semis. When you hit the back of them, they just don't move.
And you know, we're gonna try to remind everybody this every week. That again, this is something that I think a lot of people don't know. That under federal law, under the Freedom of Information Act, that this is federal law. Now, federal law supersedes state law, county law, city law, municipal law, borough, village, whatever it is. It's new number one on that.
What about Murphy's Law?
That nobody can get away from that.
Okay.
And why I'm telling you this is that under the Freedom of Information Act, you have the right to the law. And I'll tell you what, there are a couple caveats, and I'll tell you what about that in a second. But anybody can go to any law enforcement agency, sheriff's office, elected official, police department, and they are required to have on file a blank, what they call Freedom of Information Act form. If they don't, call us and let us know, and we'll make sure they get it because they're violating the law. But it's a one-page form. You fill it out, and it simply says, "I, Joe Coley, wish to all information to file on," and then you write down what the incident was. And if you know when, even if you don't know this, and by the way, don't let them say, "Well, unless you can give me an exact case number, I can't give it to you." That's not right. You can write down. They have to look for it. Now, let me say this. If the I need to look at you on Facebook times. If it is an ongoing investigation, in other words, it's a currently being investigated case, they still have to give you basic information on that. Now, they can redact. You've heard that term, redact things, which means they can take a black special pen, and when you get the form, you know, they can, which is, you know, under privacy laws, they can mark out social security numbers, dates of birth, and stuff, and things like that. And if there's something in a report in it, with what's called the supplemental report, that is confidential information that they want to keep confidential at the time, they can redact that. But eventually, and let me tell you why that is. By the way, a lot of people go like, "Yeah, they're trying to hide something." Now, and Eric and I are as pro law enforcement as you get. There is a reason for that, and one of the reasons for that is that when a crime is committed, especially a very serious crime, there are elements of that crime. In other words, certain things are stolen, or if somebody is, you know, God forbid, somebody is killed, they're killed in a certain way. There's a certain type of weapon was used. All these other things like that. Well, the police or the investigating officers do not like to give out that specific type of information other than somebody was murdered or something like that. And one of the reasons why is because when they're talking to a potential suspect, and believe me, there are lots of people that come in and claim to commit crimes. There are people that claim to know somebody who committed a crime, and those are ways that they can tell if they really know something about the crime. In other words, if I'll just say something not that bad. If $1,221 was stolen from the Circle K, exactly $1,221, and that has not been reported, and a person calls in and stuff and says, "I happen to know that John Doe took that money, and because he told me it, and he counted it was $1,121."
No, I think it was somebody named Tammy from Valley. I think she's the one who stole it.
The stolen that's going to be a very valuable piece of information, because that necessarily isn't going to be an absolute, but that's going to say to the law enforcement agency that this person knows, and especially when you have homicides or you have very serious crimes, because there's usually something, there are things that are very unique to each case, and law enforcement do not like to give that fact out, because when they're questioning somebody and if that person brings something into that up, or it's shown that they know, hey, the only way they could have known that is either if they were there or they talked to somebody who was there on that. So but anyway, getting back to what I'm saying, Freedom of Information Act, and let me tell you something, they don't, and I don't care if they do, they don't put you on some list and stuff and say, Matter of fact, let me tell you something, if anything, they fear you that because you're checking up on them. But nobody's going to get mad at you. And if they do, tell them, go where the sun doesn't shine, on that. That's the right you have. And you know what? And if they refuse, and call me, and I'll give you the 940-0541, I'll give you the number. Call the county or city district attorney's office. And if that doesn't work, I'll give you the telephone number of the United States District Attorney's Office for each state, and you call them.
Yeah. Well, look, along those lines, I just want to talk about one thing that just drives me insane.
What drives you insane? Just one thing?
You get these reports.
I thought two things.
You get these media reports of a robbery, a shooting, or the Crime Stoppers, that usually come, they're asking for help a month or two down the road, But the media reports of the robberies and stuff, and they say, if you have any information, okay, call this number. Tell us what you saw. But in all these reports and stuff, half the time, there's no suspect information given whatsoever. It may be something as 2 men robbed the store, and one of them had a silver pistol, and that's all you get.
Oh yeah,
People in Columbus are supposed to be on the lookout for 2 men and a silver pistol, or just 2 men. So there's a lot of 2 men in Columbus. And what drives me insane, and you say, well, maybe that's all the information they were given. Okay, on the back of that police report, somewhere on that police report, somebody took down the suspect information. Okay, I've done it 100 times. There is some kind of information. Okay, it may be minimal, but there's something out there. And it just seems like the media does not really want to put out who is committing the crime for some reason. Are we that politically correct that we can't say who's committing the crime because we're afraid of some kind of political backlash or something? The victims are telling the police who did it. Okay, don't give me this stuff. It's a case under investigation. Okay, that's an initial report. It's on the back of that report. If you're gonna be a news agency or something, ask for the suspect information. There's got to be something. Send somebody out and talk to the victim if you have to. If the police aren't going to tell, that's the information that the citizens need to know. If we're going to say, okay, well, I was driving down Manchester Expressway and I saw these 2 guys run in front of me, and they look like this, well, that might be the 2 guys that just robbed one of the Circle Ks, But if you don't have any information whatsoever, how are you going to help solve anything? So that might seem like a small point, but if you're going to put out some kind of otherwise the news is just going to be boring. Circle K robbed again. The Invisible Man got it. And
are you satisfied with that? By the way, Chattahoochee Valley. Are you confident? How long are we going to continue to go? You know, I happened to be at council last Tuesday.
You didn't invite me to that meeting. I know the mayor just was probably very upset that I wasn't there.
She was. She asked about you. Matter of fact, I'm looking for it right now. I'm looking for the crime prevention grants that got passed, which is a big joke.
We should say not one stinking penny of grant money from crime prevention going out to any neighborhood watch organization.
Not a penny.
Any agency or anything that could provide training to the citizens, either Columbus, on this side of the river, if you want to say, in Columbus, the surrounding Muskogee County area. We don't have any money for training citizens on how to observe, report, classes to teach them how to protect their homes, classes on how to be aware of their surroundings and what they should be doing. Something as simple as weekly classes on, if you're stopping to get gas, don't leave the keys in your car. Classes for women on how they can protect themselves while they're out in public in these parking lots and stuff. We're giving all this money away for all these little, I don't want to offend anybody, but it just seems like, I just want to come over and move over to Columbus, so maybe I can give a class on, get some grant money for underwater basket weaving or something. That would help prevent crime in the long run.
Well, you know what, though, Aaron? I got to tell you something, I can only speak for Columbus right now, but it's the Chattahoochee Valley that needs to be doing this. Is, you know what? It's an example of how you out there, because we're asked this all the time, how can we make a difference in this? Let me tell you something. At that meeting that I went to, there was about 300 people there. But you know what? You think that had to do with the crime prevention stuff? No, it did not. It was, and I'm all supportive of these people, is the city sanitation workers got shafted. The council was changing they wanted to change their pay schedule from biweekly to every, once a month.
Well, it's more than just, it's more than sanitation.
Anyway, there was about, I would say, Pat, you could probably tell, there's probably 75 or 80 city workers there, at least.
And no room.
Stand. And guess what happened?
Yeah.
They rescinded that. They came and said, well, we need to find some money so we can just continue to do what they want. Because the council, whether it's the Columbus Council, the Phoenix City Council, the Russell County Commissioners, the Lee County Commissioners, the Harris County Commissioners, whether it's any of them, when they see voters standing in front of them at these meetings, their little butt tightens, excuse my French. They get worried about that. And they go, oh, maybe we should think about this. Maybe we should. And I've seen it happen. When we had the Heath Lake Park cross thing, and the mayor said, oh, we're going to take down that cross honoring that major who was killed in Vietnam. We're not going to allow that. And I think we got about 60 people. 60 people.
Yeah.
They showed up at a council meeting and said, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not going to do it. Guess what? They backed down.
Well, I think the mayor has actually been out to Fort Benning, out over there near the airborne school, because guess what they have out there at Fort Benning? I guess it's been there for a while, but it's over there by Subway and the airborne school and stuff. They have this really nice roundabout. And I talked to some of the soldiers over there, and they said they thought the roundabout had reduced crime out on Fort Benning in that area. So maybe these roundabouts are working in Columbus. I mean, we just don't know it. We'll have to wait for further statistics and stuff. But my good, it was passed on to me that Mr. Gary out there, longtime citizen of Columbus, is looking to maybe have some calendars made, and a month-by-month calendar on exactly how long Mayor Teresa Tomlinson has left here as the mayor of Columbus. So he can kind of X the days as they go down and stuff. So. Mr. Gary, we're going to try and work maybe on a calendar for you. Heck, we might even get it out and start printing them up, and we could sell them. I think it's 18 months to go right now, so it might take us a month or two to get the calendar, but it's still, we'll probably get at least the last 12 months. So if there's anybody out there listening from Columbus that we might get this calendar together so that you can keep track of how much time the mayor actually has left as the mayor of Columbus, and you can count the days down. And
It's kind of like that when we did that 2012 thing, thinking the world was going to end, but this is where the world's going to begin again.
Sort of party like it's 1999.
Yeah, there was actually $700,000 in grants that were approved. Interesting, Girls Inc. Open Door, Boys and Girls Club, Teen Advisors, 29 other beneficiaries. It says anywhere from $3,000 to $50,000.
Was there any money for like underwater basketball after midnight?
Professional Arts Integration Resource Program by the Spring Opera House received $41,000.
I thought I saw something about
there was
teaching adults how to read.
100 black men got a grant. There was a African American youth at program, I think at BTW, or at not at BTW, at one of the Chase, or one of the housing projects and stuff that was given out. There were a lot of very, I'll be very frank, there were a lot of very racially motivated, racially named organizations. I'm just saying that. You look at them. I'm not making a judgmental racist call. I'm saying they were by name. They were very clearly.
I saw a couple that it appeared to me that they're like re-educational type programs. I mean, let's get the education. Let's put the focus on the education the first time around, so that we don't have to retrain to something as simple as teaching people how to read again. I mean, come on, that's something that should be. You should not get out of high school if you can't read.
Well, Eric, it's about time. I think we need to be shut down and look at the clock. I didn't realize we're at 1 o'clock. We've got another guest getting ready to come in.
Yep.
For the watch. We're going to be back next Tuesday, 11:30.
Well, look, like I always say, if you've got a subject out there you want us to talk about, if you got something like the river you want us to look into, something going on in the area, get in contact with one of us. Miss Stacy, Miss Elaine, myself, Dr. Joe's on social media. Get us what you want us to look into. Get us what you want us to talk about. No holds barred. Oh, I want to invite everybody. 9 o'clock on Friday, the 30th, June the 30th. There was a lady over in Alabama that accused me of a criminal crime, and we're finally going to court, and we're going to say exactly, which I'm telling you right now, there is nothing. I've committed no crimes. But if you want to come to court over there in Russell County, 9 o'clock, I believe it's Judge Gray's court. I welcome you to come. If you're with me, you're with me. If you're against me, come see what you don't have against me, because it's going to be hilarious. It's going to be the Jerry Springer show.
I think, just putting it in perspective, basically what the
hurt feelings is what this whole case was about.
The synopsis of the case, and this calls for sarcasm. Actually, sometimes this basically, if I understand the way the case is that somebody said that possibly they thought that another person might have appeared to be insinuating that another guy was talking about somebody they didn't know, who said they heard from another person's cousin whose sister knew a guy that they dated that said that somebody got called a poo-poo head or something like that. Is that about right?
You lost me. Can you repeat all that again?
It's
about this whole thing about somebody got their feelings hurt on social media.
Oh my gosh!
And they ran to the sheriff over in Russell County, and then they ran to the DA.
Hey, if you're on social media and you're on a site and you don't like it, push the delete button. Get out of it. Push the back button.
And your district attorney over in Russell County is wasting your taxpayer money taking me to court over some hurt feelings. So come on down there at 9 o'clock and see your tax dollars being wasted. I'll be down there.
Okay, thank you, everybody. We're going to sign off here. We'll be back in just a second with Eric Dempsey from Dempsey's Resolution Fitness Hour. Thank you in YouTube. Thanks to Facebook out there. Thanks, Miss Pat. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah. Tell people that we're on YouTube now, and we're going to be sharing the YouTube on all these Neighborhood Watch pages and get the word out.
10-4. Okay, thank you. All right. Then we're going to stop us here on